Good afternoon. Heading on a photo walk here in Georgetown, and going to share with you the 3 lessons that I learned this week. And the first one, starting off, is related to why it's afternoon. I will be honest with you guys. I spent most of the day from 1 to now 5 just in my room on my bed watching YouTube videos, just chilling. And I've been staying up later just for no good reason. Got a 80% sleep last night, and the first thing I'm learning is, the first thing I learned. Now, what am I trying to say? Shit's all related. My brain is just not working anymore. My first lesson that I'm relearning this week is I'm learning what it's like to not have a routine, to not have sleep consistency, and I'm actually finding that pretty valuable in terms of learning what it's like because like the past 2 months minus Singapore and then the previous 2 months in Bali is like just all routine. It's like I forgot what it's like to not have a routine that positively reinforces good habits and sleep consistency. And so, I don't know, it's just like I'm finding some gratitude and just like all hell breaking loose, basically. And so, yeah, I'm not too worried because I actually feel like I'm kind of holding back work and holding back routine. And so I believe that basically at the flick of a switch, I can just turn it back on because I've done it before and I've done it for the past 5 months, basically straight. And so I know what to do. It's just a mindset shift for me. But what I'm learning is that in the moment of staying up late, of waking up later, of watching YouTube videos on my phone, on my bed, there's more. It's more complex than just saying like, oh yeah, you just need a routine, like you just need consistency. It's like, oh yeah, it's more complicated than that. Like if you're to give advice to me on my bed watching YouTube videos and just say, oh yeah, you just need routine, it's like, yeah, great, but like that's not helpful. So I'm relearning the like complexities of the situation. And I think another thing that has bubbled up is like really having something that you want to work towards and that you value in the morning. Because it's like I said, I kind of feel like I'm holding back right now, and there's things that I want to do and progress towards that give me positive emotion, feelings, positive reinforcement, dopamine, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah. Anyway, that is the first thing I learned this week, relearning what it's like to not have a routine and to struggle with sleep. So it's all useful though. The second thing I learned is I met this girl in Kuala Lumpur on my last day, and it's actually very interesting. She was very interesting, and I'll try to keep the context brief. Basically, she does pretty much the same thing that I do. I just kept my mouth shut for as long as I could. She's like, oh yeah, I post daily videos on YouTube, and I've been doing it for 3 months, and all I do is I sit on my bed and I just talk about whatever, and I hop around to different hostels. And she mentioned how she just talks about whatever because she wants it to be sustainable. And I'm like, oh my god, am I talking to a mirror? And she was saying how she's halfway to monetizing on YouTube, which is, it's like a 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 hours of watch time, something like that. And in that moment, it was like, because like inherently in YouTube everybody has a metric. You can see the status of other people. Everyone has a number associated with them. And so hearing that she had just over 500 subscribers, which is a lot more than mine, I immediately felt that like delta of like, how do you put this? What is this? It's like, I'm trying to think through this in the moment. It's like you see the image of what you could be. Is that right? You see the image of yourself in somebody else that's further ahead than you are. And that causes friction. That causes, I don't know what the word is, dissatisfaction. And it's easy to compare because it's like, I am you, you are me, like we are the same person, and you have more subscribers than I do. You are further ahead, quote unquote. But that is the point that I wanted to, and that is the thing that I remembered and learned in this moment it's like, so lesson 2, when you see someone ahead of you, or I think it's maybe generalized to like when you compare with somebody else, remember your why. Remember why you're doing what you're doing. And in that moment, I was like, well, okay, let's like remember our goal, and because I might just have different goals than she does, and like we're doing the same actions, but we might have different goals. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, these videos are kind of second priority. I mean, just like scroll through all my videos. It's like dark, crappy camera. I don't have a script. It's all just off the top of my noggin, except for these videos where I do a couple notes beforehand, but then it's still off the top of my noggin because I'm using my phone to record. So it's like all this stuff is like, there are ways I could improve, but I'm choosing not to. And so that obviously presents the question like, okay, how much of this is just an excuse and how much of it is real? But I think what is important is knowing if I should turn left, right, or go straight here. Is remembering your goal and not beating yourself up about not being where they are. Because like, we're doing the same actions, but it's like there's so much different between the two of us. So it looks similar on the surface, but I feel like it's just not comparable. And so I think, yeah, it's just a mistake to compare. And I think the lesson that I learned was remember your why or your goals in that moment to kind of fight off the thoughts of comparison. And I found that helpful. And, you know, I have to hold myself accountable to know that it's not just like I'm not just making an excuse as to why I'm not progressing, basically. But yeah, anyway, I'm grateful for you watching. I'm grateful for my 92 subscribers. Think about it. I actually haven't checked today, so almost at 100. I'm grateful for that. Just documenting the journey. The last one is a more positive note that third lesson, traveling without planning is, I think maybe I could just say life without planning is just better. I'm going to say traveling without planning is better. It's just better. And I'm going to tell you why. I made a video 2 days ago where it was like why I'm addicted to coffee shops. Talked about showing up to the funicular Penang Hill and not getting a ticket. That's the downside. But the upside, I think, is actually way higher. And that is because I knew nothing about Georgetown. I just showed up. I bought a flight. My family recommended it to me. I bought a flight. I showed up. I bought a hostel, or it's a hotel more like, and I just showed up. I knew nothing. I heard from some conversations with people I met that it was like something Penang and is really famous for food or something like that. That's it. I thought it was some small fishing village, super local, zero tourists, and it was just going to be like that kind of thing. I show up completely different. The food is amazing. The vibe of the city just feels good. Tight streets, little cafes, markets, by the water. It's just so good, you know? I like it a lot. And I think if I had done all of the research beforehand, like, did you know Georgetown is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? I didn't know until I showed up. That's freaking cool, you know? But if I had done all of the research beforehand, if I had known all of these things, oh yeah, it's super popular, it's very touristy, it's a big place, UNESCO World Heritage, here's the like laundry list of the history and all of that. Like, if I had done that beforehand, the charm, I wouldn't have been able to experience it here in the moment. And so the argument that I'm making, and this has come up multiple times before, that just showing up, you have no expectations. I have this note in my Obsidian journal that I wrote about. I won't claim to have come up with the idea, but it's titled "Expectations Create Disappointment." And I think it's the inverse of what I'm talking about. Maybe not. Like, if I had come here and expected famous, high quality food, then I might have been disappointed, you know? But instead, came here and so it reminds me, if any of you watch Kara and Nate, travel vloggers on YouTube, it reminds me, like, this, how would you say, this feeling reminds me of the description of Kara. She's described herself as like just the golden retriever who just shows up and like everything is amazing because like Nate, the husband, does all of the planning and she just basically tags along and like they make it work. But just the idea that like everything everywhere is amazing and new, and like I wish I could accurately describe the gravity of this idea. And I don't know, maybe my ChatGPT travel planner is the answer. Maybe I can plug it as my product that doesn't exist yet, maybe. But I think there's something to this. And look, there are some people, I know people that are very much not like this and that plan everything. And look, if you were to look at the rest of my life, you would not guess that I am not the planner. Like the amount of crap I have documented and systematized, and notes of things I take with me when I go on a city exploration walk, checklists, hiking, skiing, documenting things in my backpack, like the amount of stuff I have documented is insane. And so I don't think you would expect that I am like a spontaneous non-planner traveler. But I don't know. I think there's something to it. And I found this, like maybe the other good example is just Kuala Lumpur. Like just basically showing up and being like, oh my God, this place is amazing. Fantastic food, cheap, high quality food, cheap housing, a bunch of malls, can walk around and people watch and yeah. So I don't know. I'll end it there. Those are my 3 lessons, 3 things that I learned this week. Learning what it's like to not prioritize my sleep. Sorry, just walking down the middle of the street. Learning what it's like to not prioritize my sleep and struggle with sleep routine. Remembering your why when you compare to other people. And travel is just better when you don't plan. So there's that. See you tomorrow.